Hello, this is Positive Vibes Enterprise. I'm Tom Goodwin, and this is Michelle Ronquillo.
Hello, everybody.
And the subject we have today is resilience. Um, and that has to do with the ability to be like an elastic and come back when stressed or dealing with difficulty in life. Um, Sometimes people have a problem dealing with hard times, and then learning the lesson from them and making a comeback. So it's so important to have that resilient quality, not to allow any setback to stop you, to keep going no matter what. And of course, if you're on a survival level like I've been in my life, you don't, and you have spiritual theories guiding you that says there's no escape. You can't just, cop out. It won't work. Then you're going to be resilient because you see you have no other choice. You have to do it. You have to keep going. So you look at the circumstances and you say, what do I have to work with? I'm not dead yet. I still have the possibility to do more because I still am able to eat, I'm able to sleep, and I have my basic requirements to keep going. And that's one of the things people forget is that you don't need a lot to keep going in this world.
Yeah, that humbleness also goes into resilience. When you're downtrodden, you have traumas, pains in life. When you have a positive outlook, your spirit seems to grab onto confidence. It grabs onto hope and faith and the motivation and actions that is needed to soldier on, trudge forward, and make anything and everything possible, that you hold on to those strengths to get through to the rainbows.
And one of the things you learn is that every negative can be turned into a positive. That when things, you use what's going against you to motivate you to try even harder. Instead of letting things
Yes.
get the better of you, you say, well, this is rough, but that means I have to get stronger, and I'm going to figure out a way to get stronger and overcome this. I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep trying. And the thing with me is I've spent over 30 years developing an astrology system. And there was trial and error to try to develop it. And at the beginning, I thought, well, I'll get this together in about 6 months or so. And a little bit overconfident on my part. But it went on and on and on and on for 30 years. But I just kept going at it because I saw I had no other choice. That was my ticket to contributing something to this world, and I would not give up. And I may have taken that astrology system apart, like you're creating a machine, you take it apart, you put it together, and things like that. Well, I've taken it apart and put it together many times, and my mind had been burned out doing it. When my mind gets burned out, what do? I just rest and get back to it a little bit later. And then I find that the resilience will come in and I will be able to
Yes.
do something. So the fact that my mind burned out and I had to rest and come back, that didn't bother me. And human beings are capable of an awful lot more than they think they are.
Yeah.
And it's only when you really push yourself really hard do you realize how much you can put up with and how much you can handle. And a lot of people have never really faced their limits.
Yeah, it's kind of like that elastic band that spiritually you push yourself to the limit. I think the military has a little bit of in tap with what we're trying to say with resilience of pushing, and athletes as well, just like Tom was mentioning, that elastic band of spiritual testing yourself to the limit of that passion inside of you to keep going through adversity, to keep going through the pain, and having a positive outlook at the results being in your favor because of that hard push and hard momentum, and also a continual habit, a habitual habit, just like an exercise, a workout routine.
And I'm in incredible shape for somebody who's 65 years old. And
Yes.
if you see my dumbbell swing exercise and things like that, I couldn't have done that exercise very well when I was in my 30s, and I was in incredible shape then. So you can be resilient, and you can be resilient at an age in which most people would say you're over the hill. Well, I'm not over the hill. I'm actually at my strongest spiritually,
Exactly.
and that's why I'm going to make, why I'm trying to make a difference in this world right now. And I think that it's my resilience again that's going to allow me to reach my peak um, in my later 60s and 70s.
And that is the mission and goal we want for all of you as well, is to push and shine your resilient, beautiful spark of spiritual intensity for this world.
And when there are the spiritual practices I do related to meditation and even the dumbbell swings, which it's a sort of meditation because of the way I breathe. I breathe in and out at the beginning of my dumbbell swings 15 times. Now that is intense, but that's what gives me a lot of resiliency, is the fact that I do such intense training. And then it took resiliency to keep that training up. And I do the dumbbell swings almost every day. I did take a break because I'm doing some astrology chart work recently, but that was only one day, and I'd done it some like 40, 50 more days in a row before then. And I've been doing it every day. At the beginning, when I was doing the dumbbell swings, it was 3 days a week or every other day. But at a certain point, because I did it over and over for 4 years, I've been doing it. I got to the point where my body was was able to do it every day. I tried it, and I found my body was resilient enough to come back every day. And that's one of the things that happens is, as you develop these habits, you get better and better and better. And when it comes to training, it's good to start maybe 3 days a week.
Yeah.
And your body has to adjust. But you do it long enough, and you will find that not only will you be able to do it more intensely, but you'll be able to do it more frequently. It's just a case of putting in the time, and it takes a long time to get really good at something. But if you have that persistence, you can do amazing things in the spiritual. When it comes to developing yourself spiritually, you just have to think long term and just keep working at it. You're not going to get my meditative techniques overnight, because I didn't develop them overnight. I developed them over a period of 30 years. And when you're doing something for 30 years and you're doing it in a creative way and figuring out how to do it better and better, you can get really good at it. And one of the things, when you're a pioneer like me, a person that's willing to try things that nobody else is trying, and of course there's a lot of trial and error, because of course when you're trying something other people haven't tried, you're gonna have to cover all the wrong turns in order to find the right turns. But that persistence and reliance, it's so important. Resilience. I'm getting words mixed up, but the resilience is so important, because that is what enabled me to continue for years and years and years and years. And of course, I didn't think it was going to take that long. I thought I'd make my breakthrough a long time ago. But the fact it didn't happen didn't stop me, because what other choice do I have? I just keep going, and
That's right.
no matter how long it takes, I keep going. And actually, the way I am, I'll never stop, because I just think the minute I stop, I start losing ground. So my attitude is you have to keep working and improving. You got to keep trying to do better, and you never stop. You just have the attitude, I will never stop. And I was a runner, and one of the things, I wouldn't let the weather stop me unless it had to be something like lightning or something really bad that or hail to keep me from running. I'd go running in any kind of condition because I didn't like making excuses, because I always heard all these people were making
Exactly.
excuses. Everybody's making excuses. Why not to do this and that? I said, I'm not going to be like them. I'm not going to make excuses. Of course, I've got caught in thunderstorms and stuff because they hit all of a sudden. But I handled it. I figured out how to avoid being too close to the trees and try to avoid being too far away from the trees that I'm in an open space. And I believe that that actually helped you to survive conditions, is to be aware of how the best way to try to be safe. And if you focus on your safety a lot of the time, that will protect you. Like when I'm doing my intense exercises, I'm always intensely aware of what my body signals are, and I'm really careful not to hurt myself, because you have to be as careful as you are intense. And a lot of times, and when you're playing games or sports, you can't be careful because of the game. You have to do all these tricks and everything. But when you're doing the type of exercises I do, your whole focus is on making them work in the direction of putting you in an intense spiritual state.
Yeah.
And so you can focus on being safe, and then you can get really intense at doing that.
Also, the resilient of being aware of the control of stress in your life and having a positive attitude daily, and the habitual attitudes and perceptions that help you gain resilience attitudes and uh, make you more aware of how to build all this intense and spiritual training inside. Just watch not to push that limit to the ultimate extreme to where you hurt your body and get sick.
But I mean, stress, that's part of life.
That's right.
And I just trained myself to be able to handle a lot of stress, and that's what meditative training does. It helps you to handle stress a lot better.
Yes, you need that understanding of control of the spiritual intensity and resilience of how much you can handle in life, the traumas and the hardships.
Okay, this is Positive Vibes Enterprise. I think we covered the subject of resilience pretty well. We want people to watch our videos and to and subscribe to our. See, I got resilience. Subscribe to.
That's right. Live in action.
Subscribe to our videos.
Yes,
And
please subscribe. We love to hear your comments on all of our topics. Please leave a
yeah, we need questions.
feedback.
Because I'm real good with questions. I guess more of my resilience, my ability to figure out how to respond to something that can be very surprising a lot of the time. Okay, so thank you for watching. Until next time, bye
Bye.
bye.